You know, everyone is obsessed with AI models right now. But here's the real secret, the thing that the smartest companies are focused on. The magic isn't actually in the algorithm. Nope. The real competitive advantage is in the data that fuels it. Plain and simple, your AI is only as good as the data it learns from. And this quote right here, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It is the absolute truth of the AI world. You could have the most powerful, most expensive AI on the planet, but if you feed it junk data, you're going to get junk results. It really is that simple. So, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll start at the beginning with your data. Then, we'll talk about building a solid foundation, what we're going to call the data factory. After that, we'll peek inside to see how it works, find out how to level it up, and finally, we'll talk about putting up the guardrails to make sure you have AI you can actually trust. Every AI project, and I mean every single one, no matter how big or small, starts right here. You have to understand your raw materials, the data itself. Before you can build anything amazing, you have to know what you're working with. Okay, so let's think about your data in two main buckets. On one side, you've got structured data. This is the meat and tidy stuff. It fits perfectly into spreadsheets, right? Rows and columns. It's predictable, easy to search. But then you've got unstructured data. This is, well, it's all the other stuff. The emails, the PDFs, the customer service calls, the images. It's messy for sure, but it is packed with context. And here's where it gets really interesting. Most businesses are laser-focused on that neat, structured data. But get this, over 80% of the information that's actually relevant to a business is unstructured. That is a gigantic, often completely ignored gold mine of insights just sitting there. And this is the key difference, right? Your structured data, your spreadsheet can tell you that sales dropped last month. That's the what. But it's the unstructured data, the customer complaints, the bad reviews, the support tickets, that tells you why. It holds the story, the context. And the why is where the real money is. So if all this valuable stuff is messy, how on earth do you deal with it? Well, you don't do it by hand, that's for sure. You build a factory, an automated system that takes in all those raw materials and turns them into something clean, reliable, and ready for your AI. This is your data pipeline. We call this an AI-ready pipeline. Think of it as the engine humming away in the background. Its whole job is to take all that raw, messy data and transform it into a steady, structured, and trustworthy asset before it ever gets near your AI model. It's the hidden infrastructure that makes the magic possible. So, what does this factory's assembly line look like? Well, it's got a few key stages. First, acquisition. That's just getting the data in the door. Then structuring, which gives it all a consistent shape. Enrichment adds important meaning, validation is your quality control, and finally, governance sets the rules of the road. All right, let's step inside the factory now and really see what's happening at each one of these stations. This is where the transformation happens, where raw, messy data becomes an incredibly valuable asset. Let's break this down. The acquisition layer just pulls everything in from all your different systems. If you skip this, your data flow is a total mess. Next, the structuring layer gets everything to speak the same language. If you don't do this, your AI model will break every time a format changes. Then you've got validation. This is quality control. It filters out all the junk, because otherwise, you know the saying, garbage in, garbage out. And finally, governance. This sets the rules so you don't end up with 10 different versions of the truth, which, trust me, is chaos. Okay, so once you have this solid foundation, this reliable data factory just chugging along, now you can start to use some more advanced tools to really level up your AI game and solve some very common problems. I mean, does this sound familiar? You have a great idea for an AI project, but it stalls. Why? Because you either don't have enough data to train the model, or the data you do have is too sensitive to use, or it just doesn't cover all the weird, rare situations you need the AI to handle. Well, say hello to synthetic data. This is basically artificially generated data that perfectly mimics the patterns and properties of your real data. But, and this is the key part, it contains zero actual sensitive customer information. It's like a privacy-safe stunt double for your real data. And the benefits here are just huge. You can use it to fill in those frustrating gaps in your datasets. You can create tons of examples of rare edge cases to make your model way smarter. It makes things like privacy compliance so much easier, and you can even use it to create more balanced data to fight against historical bias. It's a real game changer. Now, let's talk about the AI model itself. A big general AI model is like a brilliant person you just hired who is brand new to your industry. Super smart, but they don't know the lingo. A domain-specific AI, on the other hand, is like an expert who's been in your industry for 20 years. They already speak your business's language fluently. And for most business tasks, you want the expert.
So how do you get an expert AI? One of the key tricks is a technology called RAG. Forget the fancy name. Here's all you need to know. It works by giving the AI a well-organized, company-approved filing cabinet. So instead of trying to remember things from the whole internet, when it gets a question, it just looks up the answer in your trusted files. This keeps the AI grounded in reality, your company's reality.
Okay, so we've built the factory, we've leveled up the engine, but none of it matters one bit if you can't trust what comes out the other end. So this is the final, crucial step, building the guardrails, the governance that makes sure your AI is safe, fair, and secure. Really, when we talk about governance, we're trying to manage three big risks. First, there's data bias, where the AI accidentally learns and even amplifies old prejudices from your data. Second, privacy breaches from mishandling personal info. And third, IP leaks, accidentally teaching your company's secret sauce to a model that might spill the beans. But here's the cool twist. AI isn't just a source of risk. It can also be a massive part of the solution. You can actually use AI tools to proactively hunt down, secure, and protect your most valuable trade secrets and intellectual property. It can be your watchdog. And this brings us right back to the main point of this whole thing. The big AI models, they're becoming a commodity. Pretty soon, everyone will have access to them. But your unique, clean, well-managed data, that is not a commodity. That is your moat. That is your durable competitive advantage. Which really just leaves us with one final and pretty important question. In this new world, the companies that are going to win are the ones that treat their data not as an afterthought, but as their single most strategic asset. So you have to ask yourself, is yours?